All right, so I'm going to read another passage out of Coaching for Improved Work Performance by Ferdinand Fournier. And what this is about how to bring the best out of people, how to foster their further development, how to motivate them to keep improving. And while he talks about this in the context of being a manager, it really applies to every area of life. So whether that's, a father and a daughter, a husband and a wife, a friend and a friend, right? A child and a parent, whatever the relationship is, if you want to help someone to do more of something that is a good quality, if you want to foster a good quality in them, this very much applies. And the underlying idea is that it is very easy and natural for us, and we do it quite often, that we praise someone, we acknowledge someone for something awesome they did. What is much rarer, but just as valuable, is praising someone for a tiny improvement at something that they do not do well. So if somebody sucks at something and then a couple of days later they suck a little bit less at that thing, that is worthy of praise because it's progress, right? You don't have to look at it in absolute terms, but in relative terms. I'll read from the passage. And keep in mind, he uses the word manager and subordinate, but really it applies to every relationship. Most managers have a warped sense of what an achievement is. Most managers, when they become aware of an outstanding achievement by one of their subordinates, will try to recognize this. Managers are ready and willing to recognize those who win races or scale the highest mountains, achievements that are clearly evident. But what about the numerous people in the organization who are failing by lesser amounts today than yesterday? So again, people who are failing by lesser amounts today than yesterday. For example, when someone who was always a day late in delivering something now delivers it only half a day late, he is achieving by improving his performance. Achievement occurs when someone who always wastes $1 on something now wastes only 75 cents. Or someone who makes everybody mad at him now only makes half that many mad at him. And then he goes on later. He again talks about the distinction. The first difficulty is the manager's inability to view degrees of less failure as achievement. It is easy to see the winners. And then another problem he points out is that when managers try to compliment degrees of less failure, they don't know what to say without being sarcastic, misunderstood, or embarrassed. They also wonder what the good worker will think when the failing worker is seemingly thanked for failure. The solution is don't thank people for failing, thank them for achieving more. And then he talks here about what management is, but again, applies to every relationship. Management is a function you perform to influence the outcome of the race. Management is recognizing those runners during the race who have never won, but have run the first 100 yards faster than they ever did before. That recognition will influence how they run the second 100 yards and eventually will influence their position at the finish. The value of recognition as motivation is for managers to do everything possible during the race so 27 people will tie for first, assuming there's a team size of 27, right? If, as Hertzberg says, man is motivated by little bits of achievements that motivate him to try other little bits of achievement, managers should be recognizing degrees of less failure in their subordinates and thereby motivating the subordinates to increase their efforts to fail less. I thought that's a very simple thought, but very profound and important. It's actually a very simple thing you can do to help other people get better at something that they are struggling to get better at.